welcome everyone to the FreeCon 17 cosplay contest. We have lined up little highlight reels of each of their interviews so you can get a little snippet into how each contestant made their cosplay. And we can't wait to show all of the exciting videos that we have planned for you. And then after the highlights reels, we will have an awards ceremony giving out all of the wonderful prizes that we have. Today at our contest, we have first, second, and third place. And then each of our wonderful judges here will get to give their own judges prize. So stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Mako. I've been cosplaying for almost 4 years. This is my first time at FreeCon and my first time judging, but I'm really excited to be here. It's amazing so far. And one of my favorite things about cosplaying is being able to turn yourself into whatever character whenever you want, and just being able to just like put on a cool outfit for a day and just make a bunch of other people happy. So yeah.
Hello, this is Miss Charles Cosplay and Art. I have been cosplaying for 6 years, and this is my first time also just judging at FreeCon, which is fun. I'm happy to be a part of it. And my favorite thing about the cosplay is becoming a character, and also meeting friends, and just meeting like a lot of people with their passions and excitement about their characters.
I'm Arashi. I've been doing cosplay off and on for like 7 years, but only seriously the last couple years. I mostly do fursuiting and things like that, but this is my first time judging a contest, and I've gone to FreeCon for the last 4 or 5 years now. But part of what I love about cosplay is just being able to be someone else for a little while, and just people enjoy seeing it, and it's always just fun to do.
My name is Summer Long. I go by Summerfire Cosplay on social media. I will be cosplaying Mage Espeon. It is a mashup between my D&D Mage character and one of my favorite Pokemon, Espeon. The Mage look I kind of made myself. I completely designed this whole thing from top to bottom myself. Everything is designed by me. I don't have anything really to go off of except for a little cat-like creature and then basic Mage garb. For example, this is the Pokemon Psychic symbol from the cards that I've sculpted out of foam clay. These crystals I've done myself, 3D made out of EVA foam. I also did a belt. This belt is completely made out of EVA foam. It is textured to look like leather. These are resin-filled Christmas ornaments for potions. The actual cosplay, the overcoat is made out of like a faux leather that I have actually painted real Wiccan symbols on. I have a friend who practices Wicca, so she kind of helped me go with what was like symbols of protection, symbols of good luck. So they're real Wiccan symbols on there. And the blouse and the skirt, I could not find the purple I wanted, so I completely hand dyed that. And actually the lining for the blouse and the lining for the skirt is this really cute like Pokeball lining, because I knew nobody's gonna see it, but it's just like a nod to Pokemon. In between the pleats on the skirt, and you can kind of see it in some of the pictures, you can see a little bit of beadwork. There's actually beadwork stars on in there, little silver stars. And each pleat of the skirt has one of those Wiccan symbols of protection on it as well. And then for this monstrosity of a hat, it's all constructed out of EVA foam as well, and it has all of the symbols and everything on it. I did challenge myself to where I could not buy more than $30 of additional material. So all of this was done with stuff I had.
My name is Mitch Gans, and I did the Lofty Pursuits ice cream truck from the Lofty Pursuits store in Tallahassee. It's a local business. I decided to support a local business with my cosplay. I used the logo on the truck and everything. See, I have the apron and I was carrying the lollipops, and I've got the hat, the actual hat from the place. And I used recycled wood and cardboard, mostly 2x2s and 1x2s. And the cardboard is double thick corrugation. And the interesting part for me was making the window parts out of the plexiglass and using the cardboard as the frame for that. And I had to make it in 2 pieces to fit in the car, so the top part actually separates from the bottom, and it's held on by gravity. And it's on wheels, so it's essentially weightless. And I push it from inside, and it has one of those ice cream truck horns in it too. And I think I can turn it on from here. I have it here in front of me, but I hooked up a 12-volt battery to a horn, and with a switch. So basically, it plays the ice cream truck sound. So it was a lot of fun to do the electronics for that too. I really enjoyed it because as a kid, we all see the ice cream truck, you know? And this was a case where everybody recognizes the green Lofty Pursuits ice cream truck in Tallahassee. So it was a lot of fun. So I wanted to really support a local business, especially since everybody's having trouble these days. Cosplay was very interesting to me because I put a lot of time into it. I had a chance to go to a local business and kind of compare my progress with how it should look.
Savannah Micus. I go by Cosplay MeiMei on Instagram. I am cosplaying Rohan Kishibe from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, specifically his white outfit from Diamond is Unbreakable. So I just used a flat heat iron and I was able to kind of like bend the fibers like that. I also like to use a mixture of Elmer's glue, like stick glue, with water, and I kind of like crimp the edges, I suppose, so there's no like loose hairs flying off. I got like white pants and then I got a white turtleneck, and I was just going to cut and sew and repurpose that turtleneck. I took some measurements and I cut everything and then sewed hemmed the edges and everything to make them clean. When it came to the holes in the shirt, I just used a tape measure and I did it in like increments about 1 inch apart. So I had to cut those myself and everything to try to make them look clean. The suspenders, I wanted to find like the right color. So I found some ribbon and I kind of like hemmed the ribbon and everything and attached the suspenders to the pants. The undergarments, I just used like a base undergarment, and then I found the right ribbon with that kind of like Greek pattern on it. So I had to take extra measurements because it's like a stretchy material and then not a stretchy material. So I had to account for that, and I sewed it around. With the crown, I really wanted like a sparkly one, so I just bought like sparkly craft foam. And I cut it in segments, and then I fused those segments so that it looked nice. It wasn't just like one long piece. And I used Velcro just to attach it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, yeah.
This is GLadDOS submitting an application for the FreeCon costume contest. I am submitting with my turret and with 80% less deadly neurotoxin. My source material is the Portal game. I am GLadDOS, the main AI, a Kajinka version. Everything is handmade. For this one, these are actually lab goggles to fit more into the character. I actually used, they're basically painted, but right here is window tinting, so I can see out of. If you get up close, you can tell the difference, but other than that, these cores, which each one, that's, I think, morality on this side and cake core on, no, I have it reversed, that's morality. That's the cake core. They're headphones that have out and replaced with a Tupperware container. None, so that they'll light up.
It's really cool.
She's hand painted.
Oh.
She was just, she can stand up on her own.
adorable, and I love this.
She was made out of scrap fabric for GLadDOS.
Oh,
Even the corset and stuff is all lined with wiring. Cape I made to kind of show where because she hooks up to the wall with the wires, but I didn't want to do a billion wires because I would get tangled and trip over myself. That free-handed.
That's free-handed?
Wow.
That's so like symmetrical. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. That was a pain to freehand. My name tag, you can't see it super well. And actually it's reversible for wheelie.
Yeah.
Ooh.
manufactured moron.
Hi to all, I am Renzo Camilloni from Peru. Well, the development team of the Ghost of Tsushima is very happy with my cosplay. They never play. I am the first person in the world to make the armor of Clan Sakai. Well, in Peru, the quarantine, the lockdown, we can't go out of my home. I start to find anything in my home I can use. For example, the materials. Many materials, but all I find it inside my home. I recycle in bottles. I love recycling. Bottles, old posters, old papers, restaurant menus, pipes, wood abandoned. All can be useful for make this armor. I do this with
How did you make that?
Oh, paper.
matcha paper
This paper?
Paper mache. Yeah.
and tea box. And I see the shape with needles and silicone, the warayis.
Oh wow, your shoes. Look at that.
That's all cord and like rope. That's awesome.
I make till the shoes, till the horns of my cosplay. And I use the needle to make the shapes inside the horns. If you can see this.
Ooh. Oh wow.
With a needle, a Yari arrow, to piercing armor. The same details in the game. All handmade, but in the game you use katana. I make this in pine. I make the sukaitos, these knots in the suka, and the sword in pine, lacquered pine. I use the moon of Clan Sakai in many parts of armor, like the game. I made this
nice.
with bottle plastic. I start when I see the game. I know how to play PlayStation, but I love the design of the art of this game, and I say to me, I can make this. I love making cosplay and historical recreation. I love the universal history. Game of Thrones is not history, but it's great. And write about samurai history in my page.
So I am Luca. I submitted Leona, and she is from League of Legends. She is the Iron Solari skin, which was one of the skins that was released a couple of years ago. She was a huge armor build. So I originally started with the sword and the shield, which were the biggest pieces of armor that I have made ever. The sword was about 5 feet tall, and the shield was about 3 feet wide, but it was a lot of sanding, a lot of painting, and just patterning in general, because I've never seen anyone pattern those different types of shapes before, especially the shoulder. The shoulder took about 20 different tries trying to get it to just
Wow.
face the way needed to match photos The Sword and Shield were the big, normal, like green or pink foam that you get from Lowe's and Home Depot for a little bit more structure, but all of the armor was just EVA foam. But I wanted it to have that 3D effect type feeling in person as well as it did like in game. The shield's about 5 pounds, the sword's maybe 2. They're all really light. Most of it was reinforced with wood glue. The sword itself had a wooden dowel, so it was actually kind of like a cane. And a sword to help me waddle around in the cosplay. So basically it was the boots inserted into the bodysuit with the heel cut out, and then all of the leg armor placed on that. So from the thighs down, you just had to kind of pull it off to get it to come off, because all of that was just one solid piece. Most of the top armor actually went on just over the head, and then it had one side Velcro that you could do here. So I was able to put it on and take it off as need be for myself. It was a very methodical process to get everything on, because it was kind of bodysuit, which got the leg armor on, then the top, then you had the hip armor that also attached at the same side with Velcro. And then at the very last time, you kind of had to struggle to put on your helmet, but it all kind of worked out. It's just, you have something really nice and really large that has a lot of detail in it, and you can look back and like, that's one of the favorite things that like I've ever made. And I'm so happy to finally be able to like, hey, look, I made this thing, rather than just have it at 1 or 2 cons and just walk around. Yeah.
My name is Nikki Timms. My character is Asajj Ventress. She's from Star Wars Clone Wars. I don't know if you guys have seen her before. Yay!
Sorry,
I have a Ventress fan.
I'm a huge Clone Wars fan. I'm so sorry. I got excited.
Oh, thank goodness, because I am a big Star Wars fan, but Clone Wars is like, that was the thing that I fell in love with, and Asajj Ventress was just amazing to me. And while we were watching it, I just turned to my husband and was like, I need to make her. And he goes, that means you have to shave your head. I'm like, I can do a bald cap. And that's actually why my hair is short, so I can do her a lot easier. So the first part of her is a stretchy velvet, because she has a very open back, but she is all one piece. Like, her leggings are all attached, and they are made out of a very thin cheesecloth that I dyed a purple, and then spray painted the edge on one side to make it look like wraps, so they go all the way down. So the leggings are all attached, like it's all one piece, and then she also has the same gloves that I can wear that are super tight. And she also has a matching corset that goes around, and it is actually 501st approved, because there are apparently no zippers in Star Wars for some reason, so you can't show the zipper, so it just attaches, like I'll zip it up and then I'll attach it with the Velcro. Her belt is actually made out of foam that my husband was able to slice and then he painted. And then her belt buckle is made out of Warbler. And then I used a Rub and Buff gold on top, so it looks very worn and very just greasy. And then her tabard is a suede that I had to paint over so that you could get her whole nice little symbol.
My name is Crystal. I'm cosplaying Konata Izumi from Lucky Star, specifically her cosplaying Haru Suzumiya from the Melancholy Haru Suzumiya. I started with a long sleeve shirt from the store, and then I started cutting up the like the V shape where the I don't know what to call it, like this
Sailor collar
ends up going. Yes, and then I sewed red ribbon onto it. This is also red ribbon that I tied and then super glued together so it stays tied, and then tied it all the way around the shirt into the back. This piece is a removable piece, so it's easier to put the shirt on and off. And then there's like the vinyl. The vinyls I cut by hand because I didn't know what a Cricut machine was until later. And then same thing with this armband. I also cut this vinyl stuff by hand and then ironed it on. It's all cut by hand. It was cut with the X-Acto knife. And then the skirt as well is made from scratch. Pleated skirt. The head ribbon is made by ribbon and then tied and then super glued, and then has like hairpins and stuff on the back of it so I can clip it to the waist.
Smart.
It was a lot of hairspray with just a particular strand of hair and just then putting a small rubber band thing at the very tip of it so it will hold its shape the entire time.
My cosplay world name is KradesorCosplay. I've been cosplaying since 2014, I believe so. And right now I'm cosplaying as Aggretsuko from Aggretsuko, the anime itself, from Sanrio World. And at least I can tell you for the cosplay, like I make ears, it's just a headband. The materials?
Yes.
For the ears, it was the fleece and the fur, white fur. And then I have some wire inside of the ears itself. I think you can see here the little wire. Mm-hmm. They're all like banded together. I kind of shaped the ears a little bit just to give it a little more style, and then kind of painted it in with a little bit of watered down acrylic. It was like less than a drop of acrylic, and just painted the inner ear and this in a headband. I made the whole spikes here. This was handmade. By the time I didn't have a sewing machine, and I had this also made. I actually did this stencil and then I painted it with acrylic paint. I actually took, like, you can see this is like a separate piece because I wanted it to be like a patch kind of look, and then I just did it in a separate piece of fabric, and then I put it all together with more spikes. So it looked like that kind of punk rock metal dirty looking along with the skirt. I tried. I was like, this has to be perfect. I did use maroon face paint, body paint. It took me like 30 minutes to get one area right. I used to like combination with maroon and also eyeshadow like this, because I'm using eyeshadow like brown eyeshadow just to make her eyes design, but mostly was body paint. Right. It is a stencil I actually made because there's none. I actually did it in a piece of a folder, did it really tiny, printed out the symbol itself, and then draw it, and then cut it out with an X-Acto knife by hand, and then place it here and struggled. I'm like, okay, eyeshadow first. If it's good, then I'll just draw it back again. But it was hell.
My name is Emiline Platt. I did a black mage from Final Fantasy XIV. It was just a more artsy version of the black mages that are in the game. It's out of upholstery leather because real leather is really expensive. There is facing in the collar in order to make it stand up like that. Some of the pieces are actual leather, like the strips on the arms, and the belt and the pouches and that sort of thing are leather. The silver clasps on the front of the jacket, I actually made a silicone mold and did resin casting to get pieces of them. The bottom of it, in order to stick out properly, actually has a ring of Warbler at the bottom. The hat has a framework of Warbler in order to make it stick out so much and actually hold its shape. That was kind of difficult. Then there's another cast resin piece, silver piece on the front. The knee armor is just Warbler with some cast resin pieces. The potion bottles are leather and with glass vials. In the bottom of them is a color changing LED. So they change colors. It comes through the hair gel. The staff has a color changing globe in the center of it with carved foam and warbler covered. And it's just a wood pole that's decorated. And the end of it also has clear warbler with resin cast with bubbles in it, so the lights show up that has an embedded LED in it for the little purple light at the bottom. For the potion bottles and at the end of the staff, I did actually solder and wiring with the battery and everything and a little light switch, so I could actually shove it all in where I needed it to go without it sticking out.
I'm Trinity. I wiki as it says as my name, and I submit my cosplay of Technoblade from the Dream SMP. So this was actually one of the first costumes that I've handmade a lot of the pieces for. I made the ears first that I have on. They are craft foam connected to a headband, and then with felt overlaid on the top, and then earrings attached. This earring was also made. It's craft foam attached to a different earring and written on to have a little fun Easter egg. The tag says techno, and then it has E underneath because that is what is constantly spammed in the chat whenever he streams. And underneath that it has a 6-4, which was in his duel with another really well-known PvPer, Dream. He won the duel in the 10 rounds 6-4. I've made 2 different tails for this costume. The first one is just a little pig's tail that's made of air dry foam and then painted. And then I have one that is made of wire with foam at the end, and that's like a longer one that settles somewhere around the ankles. And I also made the mask that I have on right now. So I had a base cat mask that I've had for years and I never used for anything. Instead, I used some clay that I still had left over from making the tail, because the tail only took a very small amount. And I blended it onto the mask to give it brow ridges, a little snout, and fluff at the ends. And then there is foam on the inside of the eyes in 2 different colors. It is red and like a golden color. And then I also made, because of the times, a face mask that sits around here, and it's a face mask painted pink, and then there's little clay tusks that come out and little like scar detailing on it. Also made hooves for the feet, which are basically tall pink socks that have painted the cloven hooves on the bottom, and then there's foam on the bottom as well so they don't get dirty. And I have little black pumps that I wear inside of the sock. And then there is a hole cut at the heel of the pump so that the heel can come out and be like the little toe on the end of the hoof. I also made 6 little claws. They each fit 2 fingers in them to kind of emulate more of the hooved look, instead of just doing one for each individual finger. I did that originally, and then I got feedback from people and they were like, I like the 3, I think it looks more like hooves. These are paper origami and then Mod Podged so that they would be a little bit stiffer and then painted. To my ability to do anything while I'm wearing them. But you know, you do it so that you can look cool. I love feeling like I could theoretically stab something.